Peace. What's good? How y'all doing? Today is Friday, December 8th, 2023. I pray that this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. I'm well. Thank you very much. I wanted to do this video for a number of reasons. Excuse me. First of all, I received so much love on my birthday, which was a month ago, and I'm late, but I got a lot going on. But I wanted to do this message to thank all of you guys. And I'm going to go back and respond to the messages when I get a chance to. But I also didn't want it to come off as if I didn't see them or acknowledge them. So I wanted to thank every single person who sent me a message. And now I feel like I said this already. I don't know, too much going on in my brain. But I wanted to specifically thank everyone who sent me a message, who sent me a love offering for my birthday, who sent me an email, who sent me all of the wonderful sort of testimonies that you guys had in terms of my voice, my platform, my message, etc. This video is for you. You, as well as all of the people in my membership channel. I am so grateful for the those of you who are riding with me. Some of my members have been with me since the very beginning, since I launched it, and I'm very, very, very grateful for you believing in me, for your support of me. It means everything. I also wanted to thank all of the people that have ordered my Ancient People textbook, which has been a very formidable task for me over this past year. And I had a difficult year this year. I'm not going to front, but it was all for the greater good. I'm thankful for all of it because it gave me proper context and perspective in terms of my personal awareness, situational awareness, which we're going to talk about today, as well as just being properly prepared for what's happening in the world right now and what's getting ready to happen. And I say what's getting ready to happen tongue in cheek because there's two ways of approaching that in terms of what they have planned and then in terms of what God has planned. And the concept of what God has planned, while the scriptures and the prophecies are absolutely 1000% relative right now. And I say that as a person who does not ascribe to any particular religion, but I do study them all. There is a caveat for free will. There is a caveat for where we are in our state of consciousness and awareness. And there is a caveat for, soul redemption, the ability to sort of switch gears, pivot, and go from being ruled by or living through the lower self and then shifting gears and then coming back to the center and then aspiring to go and be beyond, that particular place within yourself. So I'm very, very grateful for all of everything that I've been through this past year, but I wanted to specifically thank those of you guys who have purchased the textbook and who have been super, super patient with me because I had no idea the magnitude of what this project was going to take out of me, what it was going to demand of me. And I started out just wanting to do it, particularly for homeschooling parents, to inspire you guys to take your children out of these schools. And that still is 1000% the intention and the goal. And by the time I got to the point where I was ready to submit the manuscript earlier this year, I realized that, this was about my life's work. This was about my legacy and my love for history and the importance of, these different dimensions of time, if you will, or timelines that I witnessed through doing this book, past, present, and future tense, which was surreal for me actually as I was putting it together. But I started out doing this for parents, and I ended up doing it for myself. So the book which is done, which is in the proofing process right now. And it took way longer than I ever expected. There's some 350 pictures in the book. So just the process of getting the pictures formatted, pixelated, approved from these different entities was a very daunting task in itself, but it's all done. Um, but yeah, I ended up with a book that was for me and that fits the standard of my love for history and the level of sort of personal standards that I have established for myself with my work and everything that I do. And the people in my membership channel can attest to that, just in terms of how, I don't think perfectionism would be the right word, but it's close. So I got the book as close to perfection as I possibly could. And I'm very, very happy and satisfied. And it speaks to and it confirms my legacy, which will be solidified in the history of the world moving forward. So I'm very, very thankful for that, and thankful for your support and for being so patient with me during this process. I promise you, not only are you not going to be disappointed, you are going to be very, very overly satisfied, if that's the right way to say that, in terms of the final product that is going to be in your hands very, very soon. So if you have questions about your order or about your book, send it to admin@ZaZaAli.com. That is the email address for anything concerning the book. And yeah, I look forward to getting it in your hands very, very soon. And thank you again for your patience. So I announced recently that I was doing a 6-month program called Climbing the Ladder of Yourself. We were initially going to have our first meeting tomorrow, but I have been trying to get a hold of some of you guys that have signed up for the initial 30-minute consultation, which comes with the program. And I've had 3 consultations and I haven't been able to get a hold of the other 5 of you. So if you can respond to my email, I'm going to I have rescheduled our first meeting for Sunday, December the 17th, because I really want to talk. It is important for me to talk to you guys personally to really get an idea of where you are, what you want to focus on in this program, and how I can best be of service to you in the next 6 months. So this is a very catered, sort of customized program that I have put and am putting together. And that, as well as I have 2 seats left. So that's another reason. That's the final reason for this video. I do still have 2 spots left. It's a group workshop that's going to happen once a month, and it's for 10 people. And I have 10 spots confirmed, and we have 2 spots left. So if you're interested, sign up. I'm going to put the link in the description. And I have people on any given day sending me DMs, responding to my videos, sending me emails, emphasizing that they are struggling or that they need advice or that they are, worried or stressed out or being, greatly impacted in a negative way by what's happening in the world, or just trying to break through to the next level of themselves. You guys send me these messages all the time. And so part of the reason for me putting this particular program together is because I want to make myself available to those of you that are serious about climbing the ladder of yourself and sort of getting to the next, I won't say getting to the next level of yourself, but operating in a mental, spiritual, emotional, and physically capacity, in a balanced capacity in those areas of yourself. I'm trying to offer my services up to you guys so that at a much lower price point, mind you, because I'm no longer doing one-on-one consultations. So now that I've taken that off the table, I still am trying to make myself available and my services available to those of you guys that are serious right now about going to the next level of yourself. We're living in serious times. Do I need to stress that? Do I need to emphasize that Do I need to point to the 50 things that are happening right now concurrently? Do I need to emphasize the fact that Satan has become from behind the curtain? And not just with the situation going on in the Middle East, but over the last 3 years. If you don't understand what I mean by Satan has come from behind the curtain, then you've got some catching up to do. And I don't say those things to evoke fear or to imply in any way that I am afraid. On the contrary, I was born for this moment, and my love for information and for research and for science and for God is why I do what I do and why I'm so emphatic about in my membership channel in particular, but in all of my content, especially as of late. This is the time now to be mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically fortifying yourself. So, yes, I'm promoting my Climbing the Ladder of Yourself 6 months program, which is $75 a month. I don't know how I could have made it any less expensive and been compensated for the amount of work that it takes to pour into 10 different people, as well as have a continuity of exercises and content to maintain you in the middle of or in the interim of us meeting with each other. And then if you're in my membership channel, you get a $10 a month discount on that. So I don't know how I can offer my services up to you guys for any less than that and it not be a reciprocal situation. But whether you sign up for my program or not, that's another reason for this video, because the title is Spiritual Kung Fu Self-Awareness. And the point is to emphasize self-awareness in this hour, self-awareness and situation awareness, which is greatly undervalued, underemphasized, underreported, underacknowledged. That's not a real word, but it's a word today. The lack of self-awareness in the Black community in particular is a very daunting thing. And I'm not just saying that because of what's happening in the world. I've been saying that for going on 15 years now. And all of my books and all of my content has been centered around that. So here I am now on book number 7. My first 2 books, Black Matters. The first one was The Scientific Intervention in Our Affairs, talking about a lot of the technology that's actually being used right now. I put that book out in 2015. Plagues of Dysfunction was specifically about the Black community, the male-female dichotomy of people of sport and play, etc. The Science of Sex was about having a broader conversation about sex, sexual energy, and the impact that the lack of discipline in our culture has had and is having. The Science of Self, the Power of the Mind. I think that goes without saying. Change Your Mind from Lack to Abundance, which I put out in 2019, right before the Fugazi that took place in 2020 took place. So again, God was giving me the vision and the foresight to create a metaphysics workbook that would help us and help you to aspire, because a workbook is a conversation with yourself. So that's why I shifted gears into starting to write and create workbooks, because if you're not prepared to have a real in-depth analysis and conversation with yourself, then how are you going to thrive in the world? And again, this was in 2019. So 2020, you could underscore that and then add 10 exclamation points to the end of it. And then, of course, Keys to Womanhood from whatever young woman, whatever young lady and girl should know, which was extremely critical to me, especially considering in this timeline where there's so much insanity and dysfunctional behavior happening within the female community, but then within the Black female community in particular, who is, when I say the Black community, I'm talking about through entertainment, through social media, through influencers, through rap culture, etc. Sort of leading the world in fuckery. And I don't want to cuss, but it's really the only appropriate word that I can use. And I've been talking about this for a very, 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 very long time. So not only have I been talking about it and using my voice and my time and my energy, I've also created formidable metaphysics workbooks to assist you on that journey. So no one can ever say that I haven't done my part. And it irritates me to consistently see people, men and women, males and females, saying that there's no one out here that's actually talking about these things. I beg your pardon. So, climbing the ladder of yourself. Oh, the other thing, announcement. I'm going to be doing a YouTube live on Sunday. The video I told you guys about, Black America is turning on itself. I'm going to be doing that live on YouTube Sunday at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'll be posting the, announcement, the video on my social media platforms, etc. So hopefully you guys can tune into that and that's another reason why I wanted to do this video, so that the calm, spiritual, divine, feminine energy, radiating the love frequency would precede that video. Because sometimes when you have to get in the mud, or sometimes when you're talking about specific things, i.e., some of the stuff I just discussed, you got to get in the mud. You got to get a little gully to speak to that level of consciousness. I don't have issues with, I don't have baby daddy drama. I'm not out in the world dating men and making videos and talking about how I'm upset because he wouldn't pay for my food, or, all of the stupidity that's happening in our culture right now. These things don't apply to me. I don't have, negative interactions with men in the world. I have a great deal of respect from the masculine male warrior dichotomy, king energy, etc. I've never been publicly called out or disrespected by any king ever in the history of my life. And you can take that the history of my life. You can take that how you want to take it. But so these things aren't, particular to me, but they are particular to the culture. And it is important for a balanced feminine perspective to sort of counter all of the insanity and the chaos happening in terms of the male dichotomy and the female dichotomy as well. So YouTube Live, Black America is turning on itself. We're going to talk about a lot of things. And I'm very, I'm finishing a very well in-depth analysis that talks about the microcosm just in this particular conversation, which is Black America, and the macrocosm, and how all of that and all of what's happening to us and the negativity that's being projected on our culture and through our culture on the world. Because this is what, I had a back and forth with Fat Joe a few days ago. He's online talking about how parents need to be, how we lie in the music, and how it was never that serious, and entertainers lie and everybody lies to get put on. So we had exchanged a few words back and forth. But like I told him, the impact of, and I was only talking to him about our culture, Black culture in America, the impact of the behavior of rap culture and hip hop culture, females in particular, not just that it's having on Black people, but that it's having on the world. And mind you, this is happening. The timeline that these things are happening cannot be ignored. So it's happening, going back to situational awareness, it's happening at the same time that Satan is on 10. I'm writing something down so I don't forget. Satan's on 10. So while everybody's sitting back watching videos and talking about Diddy getting exposed, and there's 1,000 videos being uploaded now about Diddy, there's 1,000 videos being uploaded about what's happening in celebrity culture. That's just the macrocosm. No, that's the microcosm. The macrocosm is that it's coming to a theater near you. It's playing out on a collective level, but it's also going to play out on an individual level. So And it has played out on an individual level. So, yes, Satan is getting ready to drag all of them through the mud. Jonathan Majors, Diddy, all of the things that are happening in the celebrity world is the macrocosm. But on an individual level, Satan is coming for everybody that is in alignment with the frequency that he or she or they or it represent. We're talking about bandwidths of consciousness now. So as I've been, so as Diddy gets exposed, so too will the pimps in your community. I'm looking forward to that day. As the social media, influencers who have a very anti-female sentiment, many who I've tangled with over the years. Tangled, tangled. Or an entanglement with Satan, if you will. Not to be confused with the Will and Jada entanglement, because I beg your pardon. Again, I've never heard a king say a bad thing about me publicly, ever. But this isn't about me. I'm just, I don't have a lot of notes for this conversation. So if I kind of go left or swing right to either swing right or left, or swing wide in any particular direction, that's why. Usually I'll have a page full of notes, and I just wanted to sit down and have this conversation again to promote the Climbing the Ladder of Yourself program, but to also have a conversation with you guys about self-awareness and about situational awareness. And I'm using the title Spiritual Kung Fu. I have an ongoing writing blog. I don't like to call it a blog, revelations of the spirit, if you will, in my membership channel, where I've been doing these ongoing articles about spiritual Kung Fu. And if we are constantly hearing this concept of spiritual warfare, we're in a spiritual war. The World War III is going to be a spiritual war. Well, what does that mean? Because everybody's focusing on bombs being dropped and taking, children out, and innocent women and children and innocent civilians, out. So that's a physical war, right? Now we could say, well, there's the Muslim aspect of it and the Jewish aspect of it, quote unquote, Judaism, I should say. We talk about Jews like that's a religion. That's not referring to a religion. Judaism is the religious aspect of it. You rarely hear Judaism even get referenced or mentioned, right? So on a surface level, you've got all of the Muslims now, addressing this as if this is about Islam and Judaism. And you have the quote unquote Jews who have completely, I don't even like to use that term because it doesn't really underscore the point, because there's a lot of, people and tribes and history and culture that has to be properly combed through in order to really, properly address that. And I also discussed this in Ancient People textbook because it's relative. We could look at it from that vantage point in terms of the spiritual warfare, but the macrocosm and microcosm aspect of this, so putting all of those things to the side, which are the macrocosm conversation, what does it mean on a micro level, spiritual warfare? What does spiritual war mean for the individual? Fear is how the devil gets in. Anybody who's been paying attention post 2020, you should know that. Depression is how the devil gets in. Anxiety is how the devil gets in. Worry, stress, lack of internal awareness, lack of internal focus. This is how the devil gets in. So when I say, because we don't do, we ain't talking about no devil or no God sitting up on a cloud, sitting around pinpointing who he or she or they is taking out or blessing or turning against or punishing, etc. We're talking about frequencies and bandwidths of consciousness. So God is on a frequency or a bandwidth of consciousness, which can be tapped into and harmonized with and aligned with. which results in abundance and clarity and peace of mind and righteousness and attracting the best things to you and vibrating love and resonating love, thereby attracting those things and being of service and adding value. So when you step up to that, when we aspire to that, when we study for that, when we pray or meditate about that, when we do yoga or martial arts or Reiki healing or all of the different sort of anomalies, or methodologies, not anomalies, methodologies, fasting. If you're not fasting in this timeline, I don't really know what to tell you. I'm writing my notes as I'm talking because I'm talking to myself too. I just did a 48-hour fast. I'm getting back on my 3-day fast, plus doing a 48-hour fast twice a week. It's serious business for me. It takes work to be spiritually aware. It takes you have to qualify to be on God's team. It's not just about lineage. A lot of Black people sitting around thinking that, yes, Babylon is falling, the white man is getting ready to get taken off the set. Yeah, but where will you be when it happens? What position will you be playing? What value is Black America adding to the world? You're supposed to be the keepers of consciousness. I'm not just talking about Black America. I'm talking about the original indigenous people of the world, because we're sitting by and watching the show. I'm saying that because I'm talking about the collective, but I'm not. And there are others who have taken on the daunting task of not only trying to, fortify ourselves, but to provide content and context and resources and information and books and music and videos and technologies and information and energy and frequency and consciousness and awareness to assist the masses who most don't even appreciate. So we're talking about frequencies and bandwidths of consciousness. Rap is on a certain frequency and bandwidth of consciousness that is out of alignment, and out of touch with the times. That's why there have been no #1 hip hop records over this past year, because you're promoting filth. You're promoting whole culture. You're promoting whole frequency, whole energy, the females. And this is, moving into this age of Aquarius timeline, which is not about women, but it is going to restore women. It is about women. Pardon me. Let me correct that. It is about women. It's not just about women. It's going to restore women. Those of us who qualify, I'm going to have to emphasize that word. God has qualifications. Are you really reading those scriptures? If you're not physically taking care of you're intentionally taking care of your body right now, your temple right now, whether you 350 pounds or whether you in tip-top shape, not just your physical body, but your internal body. Because you can look like $1 million on the outside and then turn around and go to Popeyes and eat a chicken sandwich, which is genetically modified food. What is it doing to your internal body? So God has qualifications. You have to be mentally and spiritually and emotionally fortified. Are you seeking fortification? Are you working to, quell the things that are haunting you, the ghosts of your past, the mistakes that you've made? Not with the world, but with yourself. Atonement with yourself. Walking out on children. Destroying lives through how you use your platforms. Putting out wicked, not wicked, that's not the word I want to use. Intentionally moving out in the world with the, in a self-sabotage frame of mind, which affects your family, which affects the people that you interact and engage with, which affects the collective consciousness. It matters. It matters how you think. It matters how you feel. It matters how you speak. It matters how you think. It affects the collective consciousness. So I've been talking in my membership channel about adding value in all the spaces we go into. Adding value energetically, adding value through the words that come from our mouths. Being of service to the world instead of being a clenched fist and waiting to see what the world has to give you. This is why Black America is behind the 8 ball right now, because we're so focused on racism, white supremacy, which is an oxymoron. It doesn't exist. Not white supremacy, racism, sure. A lot of our people aren't going to know what to do, wouldn't even know what to do without talking about and focusing on the white man. Just like a lot of the influencers and the people who have the most followers on social media probably wouldn't have 10 followers if they weren't talking about celebrities. Not 10, I take that back, because I don't talk about celebrities. And I have a pretty, substantial following for the, in this timeline. What would they talk about if they weren't talking about celebrities? Who controls celebrities? Most 95.999% of celebrities. Satan. So are you tethered to Satan by being tethered to celebrity culture? I don't know. It remains to be seen. But they're all getting ready to be revealed. Satan is getting ready to reveal all of them, not just the celebrities, but those of you who have been a part of this agenda for the last 3 years. Mom and pops, small businesses, nurses, doctors, health practitioners, yogis, anybody who has been directly or indirectly promoting this agenda over the last 3 years, unless you are repenting and atoning within, unless you are researching and finding out how to get that poison out of your body or out of the body of your children. Yes, you can be redeemed. We can all be redeemed. That's the beauty of God. It's a pure love frequency. But in order to tap into and align with that pure love frequency, you have to be on the love frequency. There's requirements. God has qualifications. Love is exclusive. This whole love and light thing, which I'm here for it. But love is exclusive. And if you've ever been in love, then you know how exclusive it is. Because if you're really in love, there is nobody that can infiltrate or penetrate, that relationship. That's why it's absurd to think that social media is ruining relationships. No, social media is exasperating the problems that were already there. Love is exclusive. Love has requirements. Love has qualifications. Love has to be nurtured. Love has to be tended to. Love has to be honored and respected. There are conditions. Doesn't mean that God doesn't love you if you're out of alignment. It means that in order to get the promise of your divine birthright, which is abundance, which is peace of mind, which is clarity, which is love, which is limitlessness, you have to qualify. And if you're not seeking to be in alignment with those things, then what are you seeking to be in alignment with? Self-sabotage, anxiety, depression? I would never use the word depression to identify a time where I was going through a difficulty. And there have been times where I was going through, the dark stages of the mind, having to grapple with the lower nature, the lower self, wrestling with angels within. I've done it all. Dark night of the soul, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, self-awareness has been guiding my life, my entire life. Situational awareness has been guiding my life, my entire life. I grew up in Oakland, California. You have to be very mindful of what's happening around you. It was happening in my family. Crack cocaine destroyed half of my family. I had to have situational awareness when I was 10. So I've been seeing the devil and Satan and how people who are not willing to work on themselves and deal with themselves and conquer the fears and conquer the lower nature. I've been seeing how it gets the best of them and turns them into energy vampires, low vibrational beings, monsters, demons, demonic energy, etc. I've seen it all. And I'm watching it unfold right now. People are losing their shit. Are you guys paying attention? People are unraveling. Are you listening to the people in your family? Are you listening to your friends? Are you watching the type of things that they're posting? When they go MIA, are you checking on them? Do you care? Y'all be out here rallying for celebrities, spending thousands of dollars on concert tickets, and you got family members that are struggling and suffering, and you won't even check in on them. But let somebody say something about your favorites. Be ready to go to war, but you won't go to war for God. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to go to war for God, but I am a warrior for truth, which is God. The concept of being a good man or being a good woman and being a king or being a queen or aspiring to and striving to be in alignment with God consciousness or God or goddess, not to be confused with the one true and living God. If ye are of your father, the devil, hence what's going on in the Middle East, hence what's going on in celebrity culture, hence what's going on social media, hence what's going on in the hood, Chicago, Oakland, Detroit, LA, Brooklyn, Miami, Orlando. How much different is the frequency of the way that we kill ourselves, the way that we sabotage ourselves, the way that we destroy ourselves through the way that we eat, the way that we think, our lack of connection to source, not only our lack of connection to source, but our lack of interest and curiosity to revitalize the connection to source. That's the thing that's perplexing to me, especially in a world where wickedness is running rapid. Good man, good woman, king, queen, God, goddess. Good man, good woman means that you are striving to be of support within your household, maintain your wife, maintain your husband, maintain your children, and maintain a certain level of dignity and self-respect and self-awareness in this timeline. We applaud and support you. If you don't do anything else, you have done enough. King and queen energy means that you understand that your mindset and your temperament and your actions and your behavior affect the whole. You understand that the way that you carry yourself has an impact on the people in your kingdom or your queendom, and you respond accordingly. Now, yes, you can be a dictator as a king or a queen. That means Satan is operating through you, not God. The concept of the higher and the lower self, good versus evil, righteousness versus wickedness is applicable in everything that I'm talking about. So just, there's always the duality of it. Two wolves inside of every man and woman. Which one do you choose? Which one is winning on any particular day? And then there's God and there's God and goddess, God consciousness, God frequency, love energy, accepting accountability and awareness for mastering self. There's very few people on this planet that are currently aspiring to that. So understand when we talk about climbing the ladder of yourself, which one of those are you striving to be or become? And then there are the things that aren't even on, that don't even fit into those three different concepts. Because if you're not striving to be a good man or a good woman, then you're not even on the list, i.e., men who don't take care of their children. Women out here in the world on the whole frequency, not providing a solid foundation for the children that they are raising and rearing, and projecting that energy out into the collective consciousness, or just on some self-sabotage, wicked, internal lower nature type energy, or out here in the world intentionally trying to harm or hurt other people. Yes, it's applicable in Israel, but it's also applicable right here, right now, in America. Which frequency bandwidth are you on? My goal is to inspire and aspire the good men and women and the kings and queens and those of us aspiring to God consciousness, because things are about to get rough. It's already happening. The lack of situational awareness, particularly in Black America, is mind-blowing. But if you're operating in your higher nature, or striving to operate in your higher nature, if you're paying attention to what's going on in the world, if you are a student of history, if you do love God, if you do love nature, if you are concerned with the children of the world, not just the children that are being bombed, but the children right here in LA that don't know what they're going to eat tonight. The little girls in the hood being put out on holstros by our men. You worried about Diddy. When are you going to confront them? Microcosm, macrocosm. Spiritual hygiene is critical right now. Are you sexually disciplined? I've gotten a lot of flack over the years for talking about these things. And now here we are, 6+ billion people have signed up for something that is very dangerous and detrimental to their bodies and their lives. Hopefully they are atoning and seeking to the ends of the earth to get it out, because you can, but you got to set the intention. But those of us who haven't taken it, if you're not sexually disciplined right now, if you still out here, on jump off mode, in casual sex mode, I did the video where I talked about this, the spiritual bodies and how they're being impacted by Satan's technology. Not just the shot, but the towers, the frequencies. It's a frequency war. Spiritual hygiene is critical right now. Who you surround yourself with is critical right now. Seeking alignment with something greater than yourself is critical right now. Praying and meditating and fasting, listening to yourself and dealing with the conditions of your mind is critical right now for everyone. I don't care what race you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much success you've had. What does money have to do with spiritual war? Particularly when you consider that the people who have the most are involved with the most atrocious things. I don't know how you could have so much when there's so many who have so little. I could never be a billionaire. I'd give it all away. So, spiritual hygiene, spiritual and situational awareness, spiritual kung fu, these are the things that we're going to be talking about in the Climbing the Ladder of Yourself 6-month program that I am offering at a very, very low cost. I have 2 seats remaining, 2 spots remaining. If you sent me a message over the last year asking me for insight, asking me for guidance, if you signed up for filled out my questionnaire, if you're struggling right now, or if you just want to have a conversation with a group of like-minded people who are striving to do something greater in their lives, or go beyond where they currently are, or get to the next level of themselves, I created this program for you. I can't work for free. You know what I mean? This has to be reciprocal. Our relationships have to be reciprocal. And that just doesn't go for me, because, I'm this is about my program, yes, but the Black community is very, you expect a lot from people. You know what I mean? People will drain you until all of the life is gone out of you. And then ask who's next. So investing in yourself, that's the reciprocity aspect, not just in terms of whatever investing in me or my program or whatever program you sign up for. Even if it's just buying a book and taking that book and internalize the wisdom within. You had to buy the book. It's a reciprocal process. So support the people that beyond this is beyond me, that you find value in, that are of assistance to you in any capacity. ZaZaAli.com is my website. Info@ZaZaAli.com is my direct email address if you want to reach me. I'm praying for you guys. I am constantly thinking of how I can be of benefit to the collective consciousness, which is really why I created the membership channel, because some of us need to know what's actually going on. Some of us need to be prepared for what's happening in this timeline from a science, technology, economic, spiritual, mental, emotional, internal awareness, physical awareness, et cetera, et cetera. Some of us have to be paying attention. Some of us have to be ready to confront it without fear. Some of us have to be operating and vibrating in the love frequency and intentionally putting us out into the world, putting that out into the world. You know, the spirit, the scriptures talk about where, you know, we war not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities and, you know, in high places. I didn't pull the scripture up. I should have, because I don't like when I do that. You should respect it enough to quote it fully, but you guys know what scripture I'm talking about. So if we're warring not against flesh and blood, but against, you know, spiritual wickedness and the principles in high places, wicked principles in high places, where is the 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 righteous, high vibrational, love-based frequencies and energies to counter those intentions? That's what I'm trying to inspire. That's what I'm speaking to. That's what I'm focused on. You got to qualify yourself to be on Team God. So let's get qualified. ZaZaAli.com is my website. Headline News episode 40. I'm on 45 or 46. 46. I'm going to record it tomorrow for the membership channel. So I'm going to have it up in time so that when I do the live on Sunday, you guys will have headline news for the membership channel, as well as you'll be able to join me on Sunday. I put that up on Saturday so you guys can, you know, have a busy no, I'm not even gonna say that. What comes to my mind? Never mind. ZaZaAli.com is my website. I will see you beautiful people very soon. Peace and love.